What's up, guys? It's Andrew Velasquez here with another episode of Mindful Artist Podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us and returning. We're so appreciative. Just wanted to ask you for a small favor. If you could kindly go to the stars and the Yelp, the reviews, not the Yelp, but the reviews, and leave us a rating. Tell us what you think. Maybe share this with somebody that you love, that you know it would resonate with, so it can show up in their algorithms. And also, that song you just heard, Mi Corazón, is written by myself. Just look for Mi Corazón wherever you stream your favorite music, produced by Aaron McClendon. And so for today, your one-stop shop for all things creativity, spirituality, while being an entrepreneur, we have a very, very special guest today that I'm so excited for you guys to meet. Man, this guy is a legend. I've looked up to him for a long time and I've collaborated with him. But before I tell you who this person is, or have them speak, let me give them a little bio. Let me talk to you about who this person is. All right, so we have Élansoreal, you guys. Let's give him a round of applause. Élansoreal is an artist originally from San Diego, California, living in Los Angeles, living the dream. A creative since childhood, his professional artistic journey began in the design world via architecture. I did not know that. That's so cool. College is where he discovered his true love for performing arts. As an independent artist, Élansoreal adapts authenticity as the driving force behind all creative endeavors. His mission statement, move with intention. He is taking applications for one-on-one trainers in the link that I will add to the description below as a personal trainer. He's a Berkeley graduate, NASM CPT, KBCU level 1, working at Camp LA. And you could see him featured as El Apache in my book, chapter 2. There he is. Look at that guy. Welcome, Élansoreal. What's up?
So nice to be here. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. 5 stars. I mean, I can already feel it coming, you know? The reviews are just flowing in.
I'm trying. Honestly, it's been so fun. I was just telling you a little while ago, like, I don't know why I haven't been doing this for a long time. Like, it's my mama said you got a voice. My dad said, "Oh, I gave you the voice, mijo." And like, so let's just use the voice. You know, here we are.
100%.
Welcome,
a multi-talented individual. Great.
How are you doing?
Doing great.
Yeah.
A lot of growth. There always is, honestly, if you're doing life right, in my opinion. So I'm thankful to have the opportunity to speak with individuals such as yourself and just kind of like, get the mantra out there and just feel like there are those moments for connection with fellow artists. It's nice.
Yes. I've always said that I really thrive in any kind of collaborative environment that uplifts one another. And I've truly felt that from the day I met you, modeling for cinema makeup school as the King Tut at the Grove.
That was an experience. 100%. How could I forget? My first full body painting experience too. Wow.
Wasn't your last, because I back in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna use this individual because that body is like, it's too
I appreciate you.
Perfection for people to not appreciate.
I'd honestly like to give thanks to my mom and dad.
Yeah. Well, and all you're a monster, you're a beast. Like you practice that daily. I've admired your diligence, your determination, your drive. Like that is what you do. Like you don't just you speak the talk, you walk the walk, like you put the action. Like it's very evident, and I know that your clients appreciate it too. But let's dive a little bit deep. Let's go back into San Diego. How was it growing up there? I didn't know the architecture thing. Like that's so cool. Like give us a little bit of origin. What's the story for Élan?
The origin story, Élan. I come from a military background as far as my father. So he served for around 24 years with the U.S. Coast Guard. And so just from a perspective point of view, I was exposed to different ways of growing up, moved around quite a lot as a kid. He eventually retired in San Diego around the start of my high school years. So I had the pleasure of actually, forming some lifelong relationships in a place where, I mean, it's not called America's finest city for no reason. It really is beautiful.
I love San Diego. I really do.
I was very fortunate just to have the experience of growing up there. Safe, very calm, peaceful neighborhood. And I think that's also what sparked some of the desire to get out, kind of spread my wings, and experience life elsewhere, because it was just somewhat of a bubble,
Yeah. Fun fact, sorry to interrupt you. One of my other queens, because I my tribe, I like to call my kings and queens and all in between,
Hmm.
And one of the original queens, RuPaul Charles, is from San Diego and felt the same
Ah,
way. Was like,
wow.
it's nice here. I'm an artist, but I need to get out, to
I had
explore.
no idea. That's
Uh-huh.
amazing.
Yeah.
Very badass. Very cool. Yeah.
And then
So
Berkeley.
Berkeley, yeah. I mean, it feels like a lifetime ago, honestly, almost a
Yeah.
decade and a half. But I come from a family of artists. My grandmother was an artist. My
Okay.
mom was an artist. My sister is an artist. Just
Very
different
cool.
capacities.
Yeah.
And I grew up around the arts and an appreciation for that. So, I was that kid who always made sure art was on my curriculum every semester.
Yes.
And I discovered architecture, I think a little bit through my dad's influence, but also the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity kind of presented itself in high school with an organization that popped up. And
Okay.
so I started practicing, to the fullest capacity I could practice as a high school student in the 10th grade. But it was called Architecture, Construction, Engineering, the ACE mentorship program. And so I had
Dope.
a mentor who had been in the industry for a couple decades at that point, and
Okay.
his name is Tom, I recall. Super nice guy, and then just seeing the level of um, intricacy and detail that went
Mm-hmm.
into that craft
Yeah.
got me super fascinated with it. And I dove heavily into like the design side of things, and
Okay.
that eventually took me to Berkeley, which I transferred to, and so I studied architecture, bachelor's of arts in architecture
Hell yeah.
with a sustainable design minor, which at the time was pretty pretty new. This
Yeah.
is more along the era when I think sustainability within built design had really exploded. And
No.
so we were starting to see a little bit more focus on just that conscious way of designing for longevity and, human
And helping Mother
health
Nature
and
along the way.
sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Exactly.
I love
And
that.
it's interesting how after school I graduated and, I kind of was hit with this wall of, wow, I spent the last 5 or so years of my life kind of pursuing this profession so
Mm-hmm.
wholeheartedly, just kind of all in, sacrificing a lot,
Sure.
relationships, all types of things. And I had this crazy epiphany that, you know what? This isn't actually what I want to do. And that was where I think the
Dang.
real growth began.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent the next 6 years just like going through it.
Yeah.
Very demanding program. I think back now and I have a lot more of the answers for why I chose to move in the direction that I wanted to eventually move in the direction I'm actually pursuing to this day. And a lot of it has to do with um, clarity in terms of what it is that actually brings me passion. Architecture
Yeah.
was one of the many outlets that I had pursued as an artist,
Yeah.
but at my core, I'm a performer and entertainer. And so when it came to the design side of things, what I was most drawn into was the conceptual side of
Mm.
architecture versus like the actual practical. And so I think once I figured out who I was, then I gained clarity on that. And then that opened new doors. And from that, I started
100%.
moving into the performing side of things, acting, music, modeling had been something I'd done throughout my life. So it wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
too much of a leap. But yeah, that's kind of led
So
me to where I am
dope.
today. Hmm.
I love it. No, a couple takeaways. So my godfather, from because I was raised Catholic as a kid, I don't really practice it anymore, but
Hmm.
it still, made an impact in my life. My godfather for my first communion was he's an architect as well.
Wow.
And I admired him at such a young age and
Hmm.
looked up to him. He was just like the cool uncle. He took me to my first concert, saw Janet Jackson. And yeah, no, I see the meticulous sides of architecture is like strategic, it's lines, it's balance, it's proportions, the rule of thirds, it's mathematical, but there's also this like avant-garde to it that can be just free. It doesn't have to
Hmm.
just be like cookie cutter, like, replicated in every shape or form. And I see how it's helped you where you're at today too, because you are still in architecture with the bodies now, and with your body in particular, that's your canvas.
There we go.
So like I feel all those experiences has led you into where you're supposed to be. Like you just said it perfectly earlier. It opened up your eyes to be open-minded to what brings you joy. And
Yes.
that's showsmanship, that's performance. And you are a performer. Like you do have that swag and that style. And so let's go into that. Let's talk about your music. How did that start?
I began, writing basic lyrics back in college. I've always kind of been drawn to literature, more so creative writing of sorts. And so
Yeah.
I tend to thrive when I was given some sort of paper that I had to turn in. I just like it. There's something to be said about eloquent writing and the flow of things and how
Mhm.
beautifully said something can be,
Yeah.
um, how beautifully written or said something can be executed.
Yeah.
I think that there were a couple big, really eye-opening experiences. Just a couple deaths in my immediate family, and that
Okay.
just kind of gave me a little bit more perspective as to, you know, as
Yeah.
cliche
I'm
as it
sorry that
is,
happened.
how, yeah, I appreciate you. Natural part of life,
Mhm.
um, how short life is. And I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I've got these things that I am thinking about in the back of my mind, and I feel like I'm not doing myself or my experience as a human, on this planet justice by not at least attempting to give them a shot.
A
And
yeah.
so, you know, I put out a mixtape in December of 2016,
I
which
remember.
it's been so weird because things have been coming back almost like
Mhm.
full circle. I've had a lot of
Mhm.
friends that I know from my college years and around that time who were like, dude, I remember when you dropped that tape. And something that a really good buddy of
I love that
mine,
you're calling it a tape too.
yeah, no, I mean, I never put it on platforms. It
No,
literally
I
was
know.
a mixtape. So it was just
Uh-huh.
one of those things where he was like, you know what I love most about this project? I thought it was a great first try, first effort. He's like, I just feel like you cared less about what people
Mm.
thought. You weren't so in your head at that point. And it's an interesting
Yeah.
thing because I've been very conscious of how I move creatively and the impact I want to have long term, and also like what is my sound? What am I going
Yeah.
for as an artist? What is my signature? What do people know me for? But also trying not to become so boxed in because of these things.
Mhm.
Because I feel
Yeah.
like when I'm inspired to create, I just want to create. And I think a struggle for most artists, at least for myself, is how do I turn that magic on whenever I need to turn it on? And so I've become more of a student of the craft recently than I have in the past, and just made it
Mm.
a point to study, study, study. So I'm
Beautifully
happy for the
said.
direction we're
Yeah.
moving in.
I'm so excited for you. I can't wait. I've definitely been a fan. Um I follow you on all the things, iTunes and Spotify. So
Thank you.
definitely going to be updated when I hear when I get the notifications for the new music. But I wanted to ask if you could share with our audience any practices or routines that you place in your regimen to nurture creativity while being
Hmm.
spiritual and kind of like running your business.
Yeah, I think making it a habit to do something related to your craft at least
Okay.
one time a day.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be an extended period of time. Just
I
make it
love
a
that.
habit. I recently adopted creative writing of sorts. I do my best to make sure that every morning, first thing I do is wake up, and I write for 10 minutes.
Okay.
And object writing, something I picked up from a book from Pat Pattinson. But just try and tap into that space, get those gears turning, so that as you move throughout the day, you're just more receptive to all the things that could bring inspiration. You're not closed
Yeah.
off to that world. You're already in that mindset from the get go, and I think it does help. Also, reading, reading, reading. I was never really a novel reader growing up. I
Yeah.
always envied my sister because I always felt like she was the smarter of the two, and she also had
Yeah.
a lot more intelligence and control when it came to the mental side of things. I
Okay.
was always more of the physical. That was how I found my meditative state without even
Mm,
knowing that's what I was trying to practice at that time in
sure.
my life. But
Are you guys
as a
twins?
no, we're not. We're
No.
not. She's
Okay.
almost 3.5 years younger.
Okay.
But I think that was something that really opened my mind to the possibilities of,
Mhm.
well, reading has opened my mind to just like a whole another side of creativity. And I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, you do tap into a similar part of your brain when you're doing some sort of creative writing or drawing as
Mhm.
you do
Mhm.
when you're making music or you're reading books. So they're interconnected in one way or another.
100%. This is why I
Yeah.
created Mindful Artist Podcast because I couldn't have one
Yeah.
without the other. You know what I mean? So
Which
the
is
fact that
amazing.
thank you. And the fact that you're describing your practices and your self-care basically like fitness. It's a little bit of your
Hmm.
therapy. You know what I mean? So you're treating it the same way as far as like it's got to be consistent, it's got to be selfish for you to be able to continue to maintain that creative muscle, right? And
Yes.
it creates strength as you're doing it daily. And as humans, we're habitual. So the more we do something, the better we're going to get at it, and the more easy it's going to come naturally, like you were trying to explain earlier. I love that.
Hmm.
I wanted to ask, like, how do you measure success in both your creative and entrepreneurial pursuits, and do they overlap in any way?
I think the two inform one another, uh, just based on the fact that once you find a effective system to implement into your
Yeah.
daily routine, then
Okay.
the success becomes an exponential type thing, right? Where you're
Yeah.
just seeing success at such a high level and it's just growing.
Yeah.
Um, I think that routine and practice has been a big part of how I find success now. But um, one big thing, and I haven't talked about it too much as yet. It's just like fitness. I think
Yeah.
for me, and I've said this before, it really is the glue that holds everything together. And so
Yeah.
being able to have one thing that I make sure I do no matter what state of mind or physical state I'm in, um, helps everything else kind of fall into place.
Mm,
Because, I wouldn't be who I am without these daily practices or
yeah.
these weekly practices. And I think becoming a man of routine and starting to realize the importance of like schedule
Yeah.
things. When you
Okay.
say you're going to do something, do it. And then even when I get inspired, having the control to pull back when I say, "Hey, I'm doing this for 2 hours." I don't go past the
Mm.
2 hour mark. It just trains you to think in a way that's like, I turn it on when I need to, and then I can turn it off when I need to.
It's
And
very
so I don't ever go
military of
overboard.
you.
Oh, right. That's it. I mean, I get
But
that a
it
lot,
works.
especially my
It makes
classes too.
sense.
I mean, we're nothing without, I think, routine and organization and like some
Yeah.
sort of like,
And community.
yeah,
You're of
yes,
service. You're also what you're exuding, the energy
yeah,
that you're putting out into your community of fitness. Like, I see it. There you have fans. Like, they follow you because they want to come back to your experience, to your energy. It's something that you give away. You know what I mean? So
I
that
appreciate that.
also is part of I think, the spirituality of it too. Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm so proud of you. This is going to be cool. Okay, I always like to involve some kind of like exercise or a little helpful tip for the viewers, because that's the whole point, right? Is to
Okay.
help others to pursue their dreams and their passions.
Yeah.
And so I have a proposition for you, Élansoreal,
Uh-oh.
and I want to support you through this, but I
Okay.
also would like your support in return, because as habitual human creatures, we work best with partnership or community of sort. And
Okay.
for you listeners or viewers who are watching, I would like for you to do this with someone else as well. So we're wrapping up 2023. We're coming up
Hmm.
where people are going to start New Year's resolutions, and people are going to, start something and then they don't finish. So I'm here to uh, propose Reflect 30-day reset for the mind, body, and soul. Okay. So hear me out.
Okay.
The purpose of this is to practice to reflect in past avoidances and challenge the human brain's comfort level by consistent, healthy habits. Because again, humans are habitual. So
Hmm.
if I do this, would you do this with me starting January 1st? And you're
You
going to
mean
do
you
this.
want me to, are you asking
I
me to be
want you
your
to be my partner for
accountability
this.
partner?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
exactly.
I
Yes.
mean, please explain the details and further, so
Okay,
that we can
okay.
figure out how
So it's
this
a
is gonna.
checklist. It's just 10
Okay.
things. So hear me
Okay.
out. Okay, cool. Um, and we're doing it in chronological order. And it's almost kind of like we're checking in daily, like, hey, were you good? Did you like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I don't need to see you doing this. It's
Yeah.
almost like the
The honor
honoring.
system.
Hey, thank you, that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So the first one is to meditate first thing in
Okay.
the morning.
Okay.
Second thing is to practice gratitude.
What does that look like? Different for different people. Yeah.
Yeah,
How
absolutely.
would you practice that?
It could be, while you're still waking up in bed, and you practice gratitude for whatever you want to be grateful for right then and there. It could you
Okay.
be going on a walk and you practice gratitude with your surroundings, whatever that means for you, as long as
Okay.
you're practicing some sort of gratitude. I
Giving
love that you're
thanks,
asking
essentially.
this.
Yeah, I
Yes,
need the details.
yes, 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 yes. All right, that's number two. Number three, and this one I was like, I don't want to, but I have to. Uh, a challenging exercise. And what does that mean? Okay, I'm a cardio junkie. I'm a runner. I
Okay.
love metabolic. I just want to be a Neanderthal. I want to
The
be
runner's
tiny.
high. Yes.
Thank you. That I
Okay.
want to be that. But
Okay.
my challenge is heavy lifting and consistent heavy lifting. And I already kind of started just to like ease my way into it.
Okay.
And I think the reason for me is that I get bored. But I will say today's workout, because I had a workout before I talked to Élansoreal this morning. Hello. I'm seeing the art in it now. I'm kind of seeing like, oh, this is why you break it up. It doesn't I had to retrain my brain from like quantity and doing like a lot of workouts versus just keeping the form and the quality strong so you actually get stronger. Like now I'm like, oh, that's why you do the upper
There's
body one day, then the lower body another day. And
there's
I'm
a
not
science to it, really.
right.
There is. And honestly, for what you're trying to say, you say lifting heavy. Is that what you
Yeah,
said your goal would?
that's my
I
challenge
mean, your
exercise. Yeah.
challenge, okay, I would even be, if this is something you have to practice every day, I would be mindful about how often you're lifting heavy, because that will
Mm,
actually make or break
okay.
the success of whatever it is you're going for. So,
That's good feedback. I
yeah,
appreciate that.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, from the pro. Okay, cool. So then you, I mean, you love fitness, so you would just
Hmm.
try to do a challenging exercise that's out of your comfort zone. That's something that you don't normally do.
You know what I'm trying to perfect is the handstand. So
Okay,
honestly, it'll force me to practice every day, which means that
I
I will
love
be
it.
more successful because it's something that you should be doing daily. So,
Perfect. So there's
yep,
that. So
there's
yeah,
that.
a challenging exercise that is outside of your comfort zone, because the human that can take that risk outside their comfort zone will actually grow and evolve even further
Yes.
if they force themselves to do something that's not comfortable, because our brains always want to be comfortable. So that's the challenging part why we're doing reflect 30-day reset. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? All right. So after the exercise and you're sweaty, what do you need to do? A cold shower.
Oh
Not
my
a hot
God.
shower, not a warm shower, not no lukewarm.
Can we
I
wait till
said,
the middle of summer for this one? I
nope,
mean, come on, my guy.
nope.
Like,
I know, I know. But listen, this is what I'm talking about. Like already your brain was like because that's conditioned. Our brains want to be, no, you're good, be comfortable, you don't got to do that, no, go over here, like you
okay,
can do. So this is why I'm calling it a 30-day reflect 30-day reset, because it's really
okay,
challenging the brain to, oh no, I'm going to challenge you, I am going to fight that like inner little voice that tells me no, and I'm going to do it, because then you will be
okay.
able to translate that into other parts of your life as well.
This is true. This is
Yes.
true. Does
So
a
cold
cold
showers.
do cold plunges count?
Oh, 100%.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
that's
good,
even
good,
better.
good.
You
Just
get
making sure.
bonus
Just
points
making
for
sure. Okay,
that.
perfect, perfect, perfect. I can deal the 3 minutes and sub
Yeah.
50
Yeah,
degree
but
Fahrenheit.
you do it. If it's cold plunge, we'll take it. Yeah, I missed that about California. There was this place called
Pause.
in the Inland Empire. Say again?
Oh, not pause
It's
then. No.
Glen Ivy, where
Oh
it's
yeah.
in the natural hot springs. So you would go into the natural earth hot spring
Oh
water
wow.
first, and then
Okay.
for like 5 minutes, and then go into the cold plunge for 3 minutes. So it's
Wait.
simultaneously, and
So it
it's
was
healing.
literally outdoors.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
in the earth,
Okay.
Mother Nature,
When you
Glen Ivy.
when you said Glen Ivy, there used to be a spa in San Diego, and I think they had multiple locations throughout the
They
nation.
do,
But
they
it was
do.
called Glen Ivy, and that's why I was like, "Are you talking about the spa? What are we talking about here?"
Yeah,
But
yeah, because they
natural, that's awesome.
pause, but
Yeah,
this one in particular is built around the natural hot springs, so you can take advantage of the minerals that Mother Nature
okay,
has, you know.
very cool.
So yeah, cold shower every day.
Okay,
At least one cold shower every day. And
perfect.
so, all right, number 5, eat greens, no processed foods, period. No process, but I don't think you eat that.
Describe processed. What does that mean?
I'm saying just eat greens, like just eat whole
Oh, so
food
just get as
greens.
many fresh foods, nutrient dense foods into
Yes,
your
yeah. I
diet
don't
as
eat meat,
possible.
so
Okay.
that's why I also say eat greens, but no processed food. So for me, I'm a chip boy. I love chips, and I'm gonna
The,
give them up. I'm gonna
hey,
give up.
not all chips are created equal, though. I must say, I got to tell you that right now, so
I'm
we're
gonna
on the same
research
page.
then. I
Yep.
just want that crunch.
I hear you. I hear you. I generally, if I do chips, I avoid the artificial oils. seed
Exactly.
oils in particular.
So that's what I'm talking about with processed foods, like things that are packaged, you have to microwave the even the and for me, like as a vegetarian, I got to be careful with like Beyond and Impossible. Like too much of that is also processed. It's not, you know what I mean? So yeah, eating greens, whole foods, period. Easy. I think you can do that. I know you can do that. You already do that.
Oh man,
So that's number
incorporated.
5.
Okay.
Number 6, avoid stimulants of all forms, caffeines, sugars, alcohol, period. None of that for 30 days.
Wow. Why?
Yeah. Because it's a it's a way that we start to develop addiction. We don't even notice that they could be bad habits that we inherit, not even intentionally, and it's not doing us of service.
Okay.
So if you can have a clean plate, we didn't have that as Neanderthals, and we were at our most best shape ever. You know what I mean? We didn't rely on like caffeine, sugar, or alcohol to like keep us going. So I want to challenge the brain to.
Are you sure we didn't rely on sugar or caffeine to keep us going?
I mean, I guess it depends on what
What
era we're
kind of
talking
sugar,
about,
right?
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But I'm saying is like if we can be as clean as possible because this is a
Processed sugars,
recess. Yeah,
most
if this is
likely.
like
Yeah.
a reset, then we should be good.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're gonna do like your natural fruit sugars, then
Got it.
that's different. Okay,
Love it. Love
cool.
it.
So we're on the same page. I love it. You're with me still? We're okay? You don't
I'm
hate me
with you.
yet?
I'm with you.
Okay, okay. All right, so that's
I
number.
slowly drift off the bus.
You're like over here. So that was number 6. Number 7, I love this one. A Mother Nature experience. Maybe it's
Okay.
with a dog, maybe it's just on a walk outside, whatever that means for you. You live close to
Okay.
the beach, so a Mother Nature experience. Number 8, this one's easy. Kind acts. Smile to somebody. Buy
Nice.
a homeless person something. Donate blood, whatever. One kind act a day. You can do that.
Okay.
It's easy.
Oh yeah,
Number
so easy.
9, journal, which you're already
Nice.
doing as well.
Nice.
Journaling in whatever capacity that means for you. Maybe it's what you're wanting to manifest. Maybe it's just purging. Maybe it's just words, poetry, whatever you want to journal. And number 10, last but not least, is to visualize. Visualize how you see yourself at the end of these 30 days and how you're going to transform and what goals you can accomplish. Because if you're practicing good habits in 30 consecutive days, it only takes the human brain, I would say, like 28 days. So the 2 extra days are extra for those to be consistent and to be ongoing. And in the future, when we want to challenge ourselves, it's not going to be as difficult to challenge yourself or something like that. So what do you say? Are you in? Are you into Reflect 30-day reset with your boy?
You know what? I'm willing to try anything almost once,
Yes, you guys, you
generally
said
speaking.
yes. So this is why I wanted to do it live, to hold you accountable, to hold me
Hold me
accountable.
accountable.
Yes, and I want to inspire others to do the same thing. So choose your partner, hold them accountable, and let's go and let's check in. And here's what's going to happen at the end of the 30 days. I'm going to give this away to one lucky winner that checks in with us regularly. This is my book. And that's Élansoreal right there as an
There
Apache.
we
So you
go.
get to see him kind of naked with clothes on. Um, so yeah, you'll win that at the end. So come on, guys, let's go. This is our time to shine. Cool. I'm so excited that we're doing this together. All right, so let's get back into your música. I
Okay.
pulled up a few of your iTunes off of Apple Music,
A few of my
and
tracks off the platforms.
say again.
A few of my songs off the platforms.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we have Move With Me, we
Okay.
have Your Forget About Me, we have Freedom, we have Love Light. Give us the journey, like break down this process, like which came first and how and why and oh, at this part, I'm gonna sneak in a little snippet.
I'm so blind by the fact that your love's a mistake. From the depths of my soul.
In the halfway point of the podcast, so
Mhm.
they'll listen to maybe talk about your favorite one that you
Okay.
have out now.
Sweet. I think the one that came back most recently, kind of showed its face, made its presence known, was Love Light. And that was a song
Mm,
there was a collaborative effort between me, my cousin, who also was a producer, um,
yeah.
a buddy of mine by the name of Memo, and he makes music as well in the San Diego area. And then it was mixed by a buddy of mine by the name of Moss, who actually helped me with the production, mixing and mastering of the first tape I dropped back in 2016. But I was inspired to write that song. It's essentially about love lost. And in that loss, you know, depending on how it affects you and, you know, the direction you move with that loss, how you find light ultimately.
Yeah.
And so it was just something that resonated, and I was inspired after some pretty bad heartbreak. Somebody that I really loved and cared for at the time, just essentially decided that she was moving on and pursuing someone else, which is okay. You know, it's cool to see because this happened years ago, and now in a very happy place. I feel like she's really living her dream, as am I. And so it's like ultimately you realize that it wasn't meant to be, and that you guys are better because of it. But it's really hard in that moment to see past just the immediate feelings, the emotion associated with whatever you're struggling with. So that's kind of what that song's about. And I think that's probably like one of my tops because the message is timeless, right? Some of the other stuff is more fun or playful, or was me in a particular mindset, or like I think sometimes when it comes to music, just like acting, you know, you're playing a character, or it's a small part of who you are.
Totally.
But yeah, Love Light's the one for me, I think, right now. I mean, we're working on new stuff constantly. And like I said, I'm a student of my craft. So I've been meaning to put out a debut project for quite some time. And this past year, actually, I created a series of tracks. And at the end of creating these tracks, I realized like, wow, I've got a lot of material here, but there just wasn't, it was the one thing that was lacking was this cohesive quality that brought it all together into a
story.
A story. It was lacking just a rhythm between from track to track. Each track was its own vibe, its own energy. And so I was like, you know what? This isn't actually what I want to use for my debut EP after all. So I was like, well, let's go back to the drawing board. And, you know, as fate would have it, I was able to connect with a family member on my dad's side who I really didn't know that well. And it turns out he's a producer and a very talented one.
Okay,
went to music school and all that. So we started working together over the summer. And from that, something else has sprang up. And then I recently connected with a good friend of mine, Patty Lynn. Shout out to her. I know she's on,
there you go,
or she will be listening at some point. But very talented singer, songwriter, musician, plays multiple instruments. And we've done collaborative efforts in the past, particularly when I first moved up to LA. Around the same time I met you too. So we've kind of spoken about getting back together and putting out a project of some sort as a unit. So
I'm so excited.
It's just you can't rush it. You just have to go with it and be willing to kind of accept wherever you are in your journey, as long as you've committed to making moves toward growth, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's why we're doing this podcast, to keep you guys
100%.
going. Love Light, that album, the cover artwork, I mean, stunning. I love the juxtapose of the warm and the light colors. It's almost like a peachy, and I mean, it looks like your melanin, almost like a warmer version of it. The drawing is just, I mean, your face is, you know, I love your fucking face.
I appreciate that.
And even down to the little like scripture, and the text is just like, it's not, I was trying to look for the lyrics, but it wasn't, for whatever reason, it's not coming up. But I will play a snippet on it snippet of it on the pod during halfway point. Very cool. Thank you for sharing all that. I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. I think this is a beautiful move, and you guys check out the work for sure. All of the links are going to be in the description, so make sure that you follow and support. Cool. All right. I asked about your routines, your practices, and all right, so maybe you can share any tips or advice for aspiring entrepreneurs like yourself looking to incorporate more creative and spirituality into their work.
I think clarity. Do your best to find clarity on whatever your passion is. Take your time. There doesn't have to be a rush. I think nowadays, early on, kids are kind of sold the idea of like, you have to, you know, buy into this or that. You have to pick a career you have to settle down, buy a house, have a family, all these other things. But in reality, I mean,
There are no rules
you know,
anymore.
exactly. And a college degree isn't even what it once was years ago, right? So it's like,
Literally.
what is it that you want? I envy my friends, my close friends, from my Berkeley days who waited until like their mid-20s to really go back to school. You know, they were a few years older than me at the time. When though we were
Makes
both
sense.
transfer students, they just took their time and they were very clear. And a lot of them still practice what it is that they studied, which is by all means, I'm like, that's amazing. I
Yeah.
just think it's very difficult to truly figure out, find who you are before the age of 25, before your brain's even fully developed. Like, how do you do that? You know, when
Right.
things are
Right.
constantly evolving and morphing. So I always think, and I've had people ask me this question in the past, like, what is it that you would have studied if you could
Hmm.
go back now and talk to your former self? And I think I would have had to do something with along the lines of nutrition
Yeah.
or the arts, performing arts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I can
Two
totally. I mean, you're
two
still
things.
doing that. You're still
Yeah,
practicing that, but I can
very
see
true.
in reflection, like if you, yeah, but you would. It's impossible. Also, everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. But I understand like when you the reflection of what you would want to have participated. But I feel like you're where your Élansoreal is now is supposed to be experiencing that within the experience you're having now with this kind of journey.
Hmm.
And maybe the mindset you had back then would not be able to comprehend it or like really retain it. I know for
Thank you.
sure, like of course, for sure. I can speak this for personal experience. Like yeah, every career, every brand that I've helped or represented has
Hmm.
helped to elevate and get, but really at the end of it was like, oh, it's for me. This is my brand. Like this is about me. But
Hmm.
you have to believe that and look in the mirror and love yourself to know that you're worthy of it, right? To
Yes.
believe it and to actually pursue it. And so that's the whole point of Mindful Artist podcast. So you guys figure out what your passion project is. Like what makes you happy, what makes you spark, what gives you those butterflies in your tummy, you know what I mean? That
Hmm.
you like you can't stop thinking about it. It's for a reason. The body is telling you something good. Also, the body will tell you when something is not good. If you're feeling some type of way and stress or anxiousness, that's literally your body saying like, no homie, you got to go the other way. Like this is not for you. um and Elon talked about his album and the loss of love and just those struggles that we might not comprehend while we're going through it, and it's so
Hmm.
difficult and tragic. And but later you realize like, oh, these energies were meant to cross paths for a certain amount of time, help each other. They're not a service anymore. Now they need to branch off to be a service for themselves, to grow and be ultimately happy wherever they're supposed to be. So, and now you have this beautiful song based off that.
Yeah, I
You know
think
what I mean?
trusting your instinct is huge. Um,
Yeah.
Even before you even know what your instincts are. Generally, I think they're there for a reason. They're innate, and then also beyond that, I think,
Hmm.
like you said, the brain wants to be in a comfortable state, but finding those moments of discomfort that help inspire growth in one way or
Hmm.
another. It's
Hmm.
important to remember that you need those as well. So just balance at the end of the day.
Yeah, buddy. I love it. I can't wait to hear new music and bump it in my car and
Thank you.
while I'm getting ready. Absolutely. All right, you guys. So we're coming up on to one of my favorite parts of the show. It's called Wrapping Up Mindful Artists Rapid Cues. So it's just 3 easy questions for Elon
Hmm.
Sorrell, wherever you're at, intuitively. And just let me know what your answer is. So, question
First
number
thing that
one.
comes to mind.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Great.
Who is your hero and why?
You.
Ah,
Sorry. It does.
no, you're lying. I appreciate that, but I don't believe you.
Who's my hero? Gosh, who's my hero and why? I think I look up to my dad a lot.
Yeah.
The more I got to know him as I aged and realized
Hmm.
his, or got an appreciation and understanding, a real understanding for his background and the things that he um, just experienced throughout his life, and then also how he is a flawed individual who also has
Yeah.
these tremendous strengths. Um, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for him being such a solid rock growing up and
Yeah.
always um, so tirelessly dedicating himself to his kids
Mhm.
first and foremost,
Yeah.
to the best of his ability, right? Because like I said, he
Yeah.
is a flawed individual. He's
Because they
human.
were given the tools that they had and the resources. So that's how they raised. You know what I mean?
Exactly. They that's 100% right. And more so, like, making an effort to understand some of the flaws that they had so that they could improve
Mhm.
upon their ability to effectively raise a human being,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
doing the work,
Yeah.
huge.
Well, it's evident too. I love that throwback picture of him, I think shirtless, military, holding you as a baby.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Yeah, that was when we
Uh,
stationed in Puerto Rico, actually, which is kind of
oh, ok, mira,
lifetime
Puerto
ago, man.
Rico, papi, si puedes hablar en español,
Yeah.
un poquito.
Okay. I mean,
Un poquito. Arroz y frijoles.
see.
Okay. Hey, maybe you'll have a little bit of a cameo, little bilingual flavor for
Hey,
your next track. I'm happy to lend my voice out to
I
another hermano of
appreciate
my
you. I mean, I had
for sure.
a beautiful time in Mexico City, so anything is
Mm,
possible. That's all I gotta say, man.
I'm just saying. Yeah, you got a Mexican right here.
There we
Cool. I love
go.
that. What's dad's name?
Rick.
Shout out to Rick. Good job for
Shout out to
raising a
Rick. We
good
love you,
young
Rick.
man. Yes.
Thank you, Pops.
All right. Question number 2. Favorite music album of all time and
Oof.
why? I know
Wow.
this
Wow.
one is hard for people because it's like, what? Just one? But yeah, just that one album that you're gonna play from track 1 to track 12, whatever, and just let it go, let it flow. Like there's no questions. I'm not gonna skip a track.
Dang. I mean, that's a tough one, man. Um, Gosh, I'm trying to think about stuff that has been timeless for me and has been
Uh-huh.
reoccurring.
Uh-huh. You're
That
on a
maybe
deserted island. You have one disc man.
I
And
experienced when I was young, and it just brings such a high level of nostalgia and like those warm and fuzzy feelings that I'm not sure if I would be the same without it. It's
yeah,
such a crucial part of my experience in adolescence. I think
totally.
the artist Seal, uh,
Yes, that's what I'm
that
talking about.
yeah,
Yeah. No, that
his
album was good.
album with Kiss from the Rose. That
Yeah,
album, I think it was the 1994 self-titled Seal
Batman.
album. It's like
Yeah.
his
Uh-huh.
second album of right after his debut. It was like 3 years later. And also like he went from it was a complete transformation.
Yeah.
Seal from like the early 90s. He had long dreads, and then he came
Mm-hmm.
back and he was like completely bald. It was just like this whole total different
Transformation.
person. But that album is very like just therapeutic.
Oh,
It's
I
well
want to hear it
rounded.
now. Yeah,
It's just beautiful.
it really is. From
Beyond
track
his
one
natural
to the
talent,
end.
right?
Mm-hmm. Good
Yeah,
choice. All right,
yeah.
Seal. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da,
So
ba-ba. Uh, all right, final question for wrapping up Mindful Artists. Rapid cues. What is your favorite quote of all time?
oh, all
Yeah.
right. So I have it blurred out. I have it blurred out back here. That has been a
Oh,
quote
it's
that I've
behind you.
written
Okay, cool.
behind. It's been written on my whiteboard for the last few weeks because reading a book, and it was like, put this thing where you can see it, and it's a great reminder. So
I
it's
like
from
that, you
Zig.
guys. Did you hear what he said? Put it where you can see it. Daily
Yes,
reminder. Go ahead.
yes. There you go. It's from Zig Ziglar, and it says the chief cause of failure and unhappiness is trading what you want most for what you want right now. And I think I
Ooh,
constantly have to remind myself of that because I'm constantly seeking out little pleasures here and there, but it's like they can become a
yeah,
distraction. And then next thing you
yeah,
know, I'm pivoting away from whatever my main goal is. It could be for that
yeah.
day, it could be for the month, it could be long
That's
term, but I have to
honest.
constantly remind myself of that. And then Marianne Williamson, um,
Hmm.
the first part of her most famous quote, um, I think it goes something like this. I'm trying not to screw this up, but our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. And I think that
Yeah,
is such a huge
that embodies this
just
whole conversation.
idea in itself, man. Because I
Yeah.
moved with such fear and anxiety throughout my life, and it was something that was
Mhm.
not only innate to who I was an individual, but it was learned
Yeah,
from those who were closest to me, family
yeah,
members.
sure.
Um, so it's like recognizing the things that are holding you back and making a conscious decision to try and work through those
Mm,
in order to become the fullest best possible version of yourself. And so
That's what I'm
that's
talking about.
for me a lifelong thing. That's what we're doing, you know.
Absolutely love that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. This is why I wanted to create this. And this is why I also chose you to do the Reflect 30-day reset, because I feel that quote in particular really embodies just all those things about transformation, evolution, and growth. So I'm here for it. It's gonna happen.
Beautiful.
We're gonna transition. We're gonna transform. We're gonna support each other, and you guys are gonna do that too with whoever your partner is as well. So make sure that you email us your process and see where you're at with that journey. Élan, where can we find you? Where can we support you through your career as an artist and
Of course.
all that stuff? Tell us.
So, you know, two sides of the coin. We've got the fitness, we've got the music. As far as fitness, I teach classes and manage a studio over in Santa Monica, beautiful
There
Los
you
Angeles,
go.
California. It's called Camp LA. In the heart of
Mhm.
Santa Monica. You can find me there multiple times throughout the week if you ever want to drop in for a nice class. I teach multiple modalities, styles, workouts. And then also, you know, I'm always looking for committed individuals to, you know, train one-on-one. So if you want
Mhm.
results and you have been struggling in any way, hit me up. Link in my bio.
There you go.
Submit an application. As far as the music, you can find me on all major platforms: Spotify, Tidal, iTunes,
Mhm.
the works. I go under the name Élansoreal, one word. It's Elansoreal.
Thank you.
You can also find me on all major social media platforms through that same name:
Mhm.
Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, the works.
And
So
that's how we'll learn
yeah,
about your new music that's coming out, right?
exactly, absolutely, absolutely.
Beautiful. Awesome, you guys. Well, thank you so much, Élansoreal. This was such a treat to have you. I truly appreciate your constant, ongoing support through my journey as an artist, and I will always be
Can
that
we just
back to
shout
you.
out you real quick? Because I don't think people
What?
know enough your journey and the past few years that I've known you, how this project of this mindful artistry has kind of developed. Because it's like every time we speak, there's a new component to it. And I'm
Yeah,
like, wow, what an awesome addition. So
yeah.
congratulations to what you're doing right now. It's really
Thank
cool.
you. I'm
Yeah.
just following my heart, and I think I really truly appreciate that. Yeah, you know, losing mom, I kind of, and then me almost dying a long time ago, just really reignited all those dreams and passions to just. And I think you mentioned this earlier, to just not care and just move forward and just take that risk and just try it, because this is your only time. This is your only life to do that. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm doing, and I'm going to bring these beautiful lights with me along the way to just continue to inspire others. So you guys, Élansoreal, go follow him. All the information is going to be in the description. Make sure that you and send this podcast to someone that you love. Give us the ratings and reviews. Download Mi Corazon, where you stream your favorite music everywhere you stream. And if you are a creative spiritual entrepreneur and maybe know one, you can email me at mindfulartistpodcast@gmail.com. Until the next time, make an impact in someone's life. And I can't wait to hear from you guys. Much love and light. Take care. Bye, Élan.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.